Community of faith addressing climate change. Greenhouse gases trap and hold the heat from infrared radiation in the atmosphere. They keep Earth at a habitable temperature until their quantities exceed the natural balance. This causes global warming and cause changes in the climate. According to Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the important greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. Although water vapor is the most abundant greenhouse gas, its impact on global warming is significantly less than CO2. CO2 is abundant and has an atmospheric lifetime of 300 to 1,000 years, and its warming effect outlives the effect of others by centuries. That is why it is important to decarbonize. Decarbonization efforts by the United Church of Canada faith communities in Central Labrador and Nova Scotia. The decarbonization strategies used by the Northwest River Church were fuel decarbonization and conserving resources through recycling. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, the fashion industry is responsible for 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Every year the fashion industry uses 93 billion cubic meters of water, enough to meet the consumption needs of 5 million people. Therefore, recycling clothes reduces carbon emission and conserves resources. The staff actions contribute to keeping clothes out of the landfill, where it takes almost 200+ years for textiles to decompose. The clothing bank provides up to 20% of church costs. While the church makes significant income from the shop, the priority is in getting items where they are most needed. Decarbonization strategies by the faith communities in Nova Scotia. St. Matthew's Church's strategy to decarbonize were through educating, empowering and engaging their congregation, through advocacy and supporting organizations and local groups on decarbonization efforts, and integrating care of environment in worship. The church spread awareness of climate change-related community events and sustainable practices through their newsletter Good Tidings. The church supported the national initiative by the Council of Canadians and 350.org by petitioning the federal government to legislate just transition. Signed petition COP26 leaders to take urgent action against climate change, stood with Owl's Head protesters and successfully stopped the bid to turn a wilderness park into a golf course. The worship routinely includes elements related to nature or climate change in all aspects of the worship, like in the hymns, sermons and displays, as a consistent reminder that every day is Earth Day. The church plans to do an energy audit to bring the church to the highest green standards. The special committee called Earth Spirit Action formed to focus on climate change and climate justice. They will function as researchers to obtain relevant information to bring the church to the required standards.
The decarbonization strategies used by St. Luke's Church Upper Tantallon, Nova Scotia were aggressive building and appliance efficiency measures, and electricity decarbonization. The aggressive building energy conservation measure was upgrading the insulation to R50. Old appliances replaced, and LED bulbs installed in all the light fixtures. A 55.87 kW solar panel system was installed on the church roof. The roof was rebuilt to structurally support the weight of the solar panels. These energy-saving initiatives reduced electricity consumption to half of 2014 levels. The solar panel installation was funded through a loan from Church Extension Fund, a grant from Region 15 Hunter Fund, and through local fundraising. The panels have since generated over 84,000 kilowatt-hours of energy. This represents the reduction of over 16 tons of CO2 emissions, the equivalent of the planting of almost 1,000 trees. In addition, the Solar Energy for Community Buildings program allows the church to sell the generated power to NS Power at a contracted enhanced rate for 20 years. This provides a source of ongoing revenue that will pay for the project within 9 years, and support the church's work thereafter. Decarbonization measures by the Berwick United Church, Berwick, Nova Scotia were electrification and electricity decarbonization. The church transitioned from an oil-fired heating system to heat pumps. The transition required electric upgrade to 400 amps. Although the total cost of the transition was over $70,000, it was all covered through the grants and incentives, HST rebates and individual donations. The United Church offers $30,000 as grant to move from an oil-fired heating, and Nova Scotia offers grants and incentives to install heat pumps. There was an immediate saving of $5,000 this winter from price of oil, however only a marginal increase in the cost of power, as the heat pumps were very efficient. The church buys hydroelectric power from the town of Berwick and plan to invest in town's solar farm when it becomes functional in summer 2022.
The Buller Dairy Pastoral Charge Cape Breton, Nova Scotia promoted decarbonization through advocacy. Sunday school children distributed to the congregation climate pledges. It was a modified version of, For the Love of Creation. The first United Church's decarbonization strategies were, mobilizing government and community to decarbonize, and integrating care of environment in worship. Give It Up for the Earth is a national faith in action campaign, intended to raise awareness about climate change, and mobilize people across Canada to reduce household greenhouse gas emissions, engage in acts of solidarity, and collect signatures as a demonstration of support for increased federal government action. Celebrating Earth Sunday. St. Andrew's United Church, Halifax, Nova Scotia supported the efforts of Council of Canadians, 350.org, Ecology Action Centre and Student Strike for Climate Change towards decarbonization. Climate change does not affect everyone equally. Climate change will have a disproportional effect on distinct groups, communities, and populations. An approach that aims to minimize the impact on workers and communities, and to engage with the individuals and organizations who are impacted is called just transition. During the 4 weeks leading to COP26, the Church supported the national initiative by the Council of Canadians and 350.org to legislate just transition. 100 congregation members signed the petition, which was sent to our MP Andy Fillmore. It was tabled in Parliament by our MP. We received written responses from 3 federal ministers. Members of St. Andrews joined Ecology Action Centre and Student Strike for Climate Change, to contact the municipal representatives to vote in favour of a proposed 3% increase in our tax. This increase in tax was meant to fully fund HRM's multi-year climate change response plan, Halifax. Together, we were successful. Now Halifax Regional Municipality has the most comprehensive climate change mitigation plans.
Hello, my name is Mark Hazen, and I'm Chair of the Unified Board of Grace United Church in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and I'm here in our 100-plus-year-old building. This building sees a lot of use over the week, both from community groups and micro-businesses using our kitchen and our own activities. As a church, our new creed says that we are to live with respect in creation. And for the last decade or so, our property committee has been working very hard at doing just that. We have upgraded our lighting systems. We have insulated where needed. We've added programmable thermostats and so on. Last spring and summer, due to a grant from Region 15's New Ministry and Revitalization Fund, we got some money for an energy audit. And this has set us up to take the next step in reducing our energy footprint. So following that energy audit, we are in the midst of updating our heating system, replacing 3 large oil-fired furnaces with heat pumps. And thanks to grants from the provincial and federal governments through Efficiency One, and matching grants from Faithful Footprints, the national church, we're well on our way to that. The new power system has been installed, and we are just waiting for the new heat pumps to arrive. This will free up further space in our building that will allow us to do more programs within the community. We are grateful for the support that allows us to make these changes so that we can reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and our energy footprint.
The information is in. The Earth is heating up by 3 degrees as a result of burning carbon. The results are and will be profound. St. George and St. Andrew United Church of Canada in Annapolis Royal is working towards installing an electrical system that incorporates heat pumps, new and more efficient doors, insulation, and solar panels on the roof of the church. The changes, based upon qualified bids, will cost above $100,000, of which over $30,000 will be provided by grants. An additional significant amount from rebates is expected to come from Efficiency Nova Scotia. The outcomes of this project will be significant in cost and environmental benefits, including the prevention of approximately 50,000 tons of carbon from being released into the atmosphere and oceans. Economically, this investment will save St. George and St. Andrews approximately $200,000 in costs and expenditures over the life of the project. St. George and St. Andrew United Church of Canada in Annapolis does not view this as a comprehensive adaptation towards the future only, but rather one of several important steps that include personal pledges by members of the congregation. These steps include an income pass, more efficient and non-polluting transportation, home repairs, support of local farms and businesses, and the elimination of plastic products. The Environmental Committee of St. George and St. Andrew has produced alternatives to plastic bags and was instrumental in lobbying the provincial government towards banning of single-use plastics. Also, at least once a year, they remove dozens and dozens of garbage bags of marine trash from our local beaches. Disposal of these is done in cooperation with the local environmental organization. The Church in Action, or Environment Committee of St. George and St. Andrew, is a committee that has attracted new folks not only to this kind of work, but also brought them into the church. It's one of the very few committees where people are not burnt out and truly excited to work together and come up with new projects. Even in the last 2 years of COVID, which have been so devastating for all of us, we have not given up the work.
Yes, let's not give up, but move forward step by step. For we are all in this together.